What if eating one fruit a day would help you to reverse prediabetes? Now, would you do it? Or would you have that evil little guy on your shoulder over here saying, don't do it because it has so many carbs? Well, I'm going to talk today about one special fruit you might want to consider bringing into your diet. Well, hello, hi, how are you? I'm Dietitian Shelly, and you are absolutely in the right place if you're looking to lower your blood sugars, to improve your A1C levels, and even talk about insulin resistance and PCOS. So I want you to go ahead and subscribe, grab that pen and paper, because you're going to want to take notes on this. It's absolutely no secret that I follow a low carb lifestyle, and this channel is a low carb channel. But that doesn't mean I don't enjoy fruit here and there. Now, I'm not talking about fruit in those yucky smoothies or fruit flavored yogurt. This is going to be the real deal that you find in your produce section and even your frozen section. Now, if you're ready to hear it, keep on watching. But before I talk about it, make sure to subscribe and go into my description box to download a 7-day menu that will help you improve your blood sugar levels. You can probably already tell that I have my computer here in front of me because I pulled up a lot of studies about this fruit. And I want to make sure I quote everything right because, well, I'm a dietitian. I want to share you the right information, and sometimes I stumble on my words, but that's okay. This is real life. And if you haven't figured it out by now, I'm sure somebody in the comment section already wrote it. This fruit is the raspberry. Now, I've talked about raspberries before in this channel as a fruit that has a low glycemic index, but I really want to dive in the reasons I do want you to bring this fruit into your diet. One of the first things that raspberries can do is help to lower our insulin. And my goal, I always tell folks when working with them, they're like, how much weight should I lose? What goal should you set me on? My goal is that we lower those insulin levels so that in turn, we can keep our blood sugar stable. So let me quote this study. So this study was done in 2019 at the Clinical Nutrition Research Center at the Illinois Institute of Technology. That's a lot of words, but I wanted to get it right for you. And it showed that people who consume, check this out, frozen red raspberries. You may not live in a climate where you can get fresh raspberries all the time. So you can look for those frozen red raspberries. It showed lower blood sugar levels and lower insulin. And then there was a little bit more that they showed. And we don't talk about triglycerides in here a lot, but for those who had a full 2 cups of frozen berries, they found lower triglycerides after a high carb, moderate fat meal. So what does that mean? Well, if we were to eat raspberries, and I teach this, we never want to have it by itself. We want to have it with a meal. So what does this mean? We don't want to have our red raspberries by themselves. We want to add it to our meal. And surprisingly, I usually encourage folks to add raspberries to their night meal. Many of my clients participate in intermittent fasting, and that would be the most logical place to put it. Now, would I do 2 cups? That's a little bit of a stretch for me personally because, folks follow low carb guidelines in my clinic. But think about and start with a half a cup of those red raspberries to add at night. Let's keep talking. The next reason is it lowers blood sugar levels. Now again, I got to do a little looky at my computer to make sure I recite the study right to you. So check this one out. So this was a study published in the Journal of Obesity, and it involved 32 participants between the ages of 20 and 60 years old. So a good variety of ages. I'm going to get a lot of complaints that, well, Shelly, there should have been a lot more people. Sometimes it's hard to get a lot of folks in these studies, and then you risk correlation like, well, if I did this, I'm going to do this. They were given high carb breakfast. Now, so for folks who intermittent fast, we would obviously not worry about this. With moderate amounts of fat, with either 1 or 2 cups of our frozen red raspberries, and on 3 occasions, they had a control group receiving no raspberries. So let me break it down for you. None or 0, 1 cup, or 2. So they noted those who took the raspberry-rich breakfasts had lower blood sugar levels than those who did not eat the raspberries. That's pretty interesting. I like that. I really do like that. So again, if you're not intermittent fasting, if you prefer not to add your raspberries at nighttime, this study did show that the breakfast did work. Let's continue. Now, one of the bonuses that we talk about a lot is inflammation. And I did a video a while back about foods and arthritis, and I do have a lot of folks in my clinic. I work in a physical therapy clinic who do have arthritis. So we try to overlap it a lot of times with the inflammation, with prediabetes, and let me read the real results for you. It's kind of a known thing that raspberries, this is just a basic, they have anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties that can help lower, heart disease, even, our arthritis, our pain. So think about that whenever you're picking that raspberry. And then we talked about this a little bit earlier, and I really honed this down a lot in my clinic. It's a low glycemic index fruit. So let me kind of read here. So just for folks to know, the glycemic index looks how fast blood sugar enters the bloodstream after we eat a food. So how does it react? So you see a lot of these reaction videos on YouTube where folks will be like, blood testing bread, and that's exactly what they're doing. But because raspberries have a lower glycemic scale, it's not going to give you those huge shoots like, for example, watermelon, which is one of the highest glycemic fruits. That's why I get a lot of flack from my colleagues, like, just recommend all fruits. And it's like, no, we really need to push these fruits that are lower on the glycemic scale to help take care of our bodies. And I'm a really huge advocate about that. Some folks get really mad at me. I had somebody comment that I shouldn't even be a dietitian because all foods can fit. And I really disagree with that. I would say, hey, if you're gonna eat fruit, grab that raspberry. That's how we do this. We wanna give you the best bang for your health because we're not gonna be here for a long time. Eat the best you can, right? Just to break it down, raspberries have a glycemic score of 32. And I believe watermelon's like in the 81, maybe 87. I'll comment below what the actual glycemic index of that watermelon is. Just remember, a full cup of raspberries is 7 grams of fiber. So if you're doing net carbs, that's only gonna be about 8 net carbs. Now, in my clinic, I start folks out on 35 net carbs per day. So it's an easy fit in for us. So think about it. And then this is an interesting one. The raspberries can actually break down starch. So how can it do that? Well, it has something in there called tannins. And I want to read the exact properties to you right here. Red raspberries have a high tannin content, which are compounds that play a role, now we're going to talk some big words, in blocking alpha amylase, an enzyme that breaks down starch. By doing so, tannin-rich raspberries may lower the number of carbs and calories consumed. So it's kind of like a little stop sign there. So there's so many benefits of the red raspberries. What would I do? Well, I do on and off participate in intermittent fasting. Right now I'm on a 16/8 scale with it. I don't go too wild and crazy. I just keep it simple. So I would include mine at night. And I don't do a full cup. I have to be honest. I do about a half of a cup. And I do frozen. Right now, you may not be watching this video and it's summertime. I'm filming it. It's in the winter. It's cold. It's dreary outside. You can kind of see that already. I would just, go to the store, buy the frozen, look at the label, make sure they don't add anything to it. Store brand is fine, gang. You all know in here, I'm bougie on a bayou. I don't shop at the fancy stores. I'm your Walmart girl. I'm your Drug Emporium girl. I'm your Kroger girl. So think about including this fruit. It can really help to reverse prediabetes. It has some great properties. This is one I would say, hey, count it into your macros. Don't leave it out. Awesome things. And if you need ever something, gang, just comment below. My email's down there. Would love to have you as a client. And hey, subscribe to our channel, gang. Much love. Bye-bye.